Donkey Kong Country's Returns actually has a decent amount of bosses to it, so of course, what are my favorite bosses in this game? Well, those bosses would consist of Mole Miner Max, I guess is what Max Design Pro used to look like before he became Max Design Pro, Thuggly, and my personal favorite boss in the entire game, Foghorn Leghorn from Looney Tunes. Actually, no, that's not his actual name. His actual name is Colonel Plux. So I'm just gonna be straight up honest, the bosses in this game could be kinda piss easy, so I picked ones that were actually somewhat more challenging. So I think I picked myself out a list that is decent enough. So let's get into it. Let's get into my favorite bosses of Donkey Kong Country's Returns. So starting off with Mole Miner Max. Mole Miner Max is the boss of the moles. Unfortunately, he gets mind controlled by one of the Tiki Tribe members, and of course because you love bananas, you risk your life to get some bananas. Man, no wonder Mole Miner Max gave up on this job to become Max Design Pro. Your goal in this fight is to reach your way to Mole Miner Max by getting through a few of his goons, and depending on your skill level, which obviously you can tell that I'm not good at this game because I'm gold right now, it might be pretty easy but also could be pretty challenging. You just have to avoid some pickaxes and also bombs. Eventually your minecart will connect with a bunch of the other minecarts in front of you, and you'll have to jump on a few moles. And this cycle will repeat itself for a second time in a row, until eventually you make it to Mole Miner Max. Nearly every element that you've gotten used to in this fight will mix together into one. But of course, be careful because those minecarts can break off and you can fall into the abyss below. Some of you might question me for putting this on my list of favorite boss fights, but what I appreciate with this one is that you're isolated to one singular area. Now of course, sometimes you do have some freedom, but you gotta be quick when you do get that freedom. Once you're done jumping on those moles, the minecarts are gonna break off. And you might not be sure which minecart is gonna break off, so you gotta move quickly. This fight just has a level of isolation to it, where you're just isolated to your minecart, but you're also isolated to when you get to jump on moles. And it could be a little bit tricky avoiding some of those throws being thrown at you, but that is just the stuff I like about this fight. So now we're moving into Thuggly. Thuggly is sort of a reskin of this fight you had earlier in the game, slash also kind of a reskin, I guess. What makes him different is that he utilizes fire, which makes him different. He'll try to run at you pretty fast and also jump around. When he does that, he will expose his weak point. When he does that, you will have the opportunity to get into the next phase of the fight, where he'll start to utilize some fire, but will use the same attack tactics he's already been using. And the final phase of this is kind of a rinse and repeat of already what you know. They just throw in one more extra attack for extra measure. I'd say that this fight has far more of a structure than the other fights in the game. I definitely know when it's gonna end, but at least it feels longer. Some of the boss fights in this game sort of just abruptly end on you, so with this one it kinda doesn't feel that way. It also is a bit more challenging than the other fights, and I'd say that's because of the attacks that the boss throws at you. On your first try, you might not even know what you're getting yourself into. So overall, I like that this fight is a bit more structured and is actually far more challenging. But we are left with one more boss that is my favorite boss in this entire game.
I'll say, son, what do we got brewing in here?
This chicken might be the most memorable aspect from this game, I'm not even joking. Colonel Plux will walk around in his robot thing and you'll have to avoid his legs. Eventually there will be an opening point that you can smash in. You will smash this thing in a few times in a row. Eventually his robot will break down and he'll start flying around like he's Dr. Eggman. I wouldn't be too surprised if Colonel Plux looks up to Dr. Eggman. He will throw a few robot chickens after you and you'll have to just break them down. And he will smash down with his flying device and you'll jump on his head a few times. It should be noted when he's in his robot phase, he also likes to fly around too. This fight's concept does sound kinda simple, but straight up, I'm just gonna say that it's just a fun fight. I enjoy getting the opportunity to smash his robot in when he slowly moves around. And the final phase of the fight can be kind of an adrenaline rush, a good adrenaline rush. It's not a bad way to cap off the traditional boss fights before you get into the last one, and it's my favorite fight in the game. I like chicken, don't judge me. Also, I just gotta point out the music quickly. Holy crap, it slaps. Take a listen to it. Why does it fit his character so well? Who made this game? So those are my favorite bosses in Donkey Kong Country's Returns. What are your favorite bosses in this game? Let me know and I'll see you guys next time and bye.